No, we gotta save the top ones for the finale. Okay, we're gonna get right into it. Tier list: Sweden, 16 songs, 5 categories. And if you've been following the stream now for a while, hearing me talk about Melody Festival, and you already know that the song "Where Did You Go" is not for me because holy hell, this is repetitive beyond words. I've already talked about it in the stream, so I'm not sure if I have to mention it again, but yeah. How many times did you say she said the chorus? There was someone in the chat who counted 35 times, I think. I seem to remember. Melodically uninteresting, chords uninteresting, instrumentally uninteresting. Nice little performance to it, but yeah, not for me. So let's see. Lucas says, I can see that not for you are Teos, Elovan, Benin, Tone, Paul Ray, and Kiana. I haven't said anything. Don't just make assumptions. But you're right about one of those. Should we go with Elovan, Benin right here? Not for me. Absolutely not for me. This is what do you say? Like, it's a very popular genre and type of music these days, but it's one that I don't particularly care for. I guess it's like an ambitious performance with a fun little, like, it's harmless. It's just there to entertain and to be fun, but I'm not in on the fun aspects of it. I don't really particularly enjoy it, so simply it's not for me. It has a nice little hook to it, I guess, but it's a song that I would never listen to. Simple as that. I honestly don't think that there's anything else that I would consider to be not for me. These are the two that I absolutely do not want it to see go through at all. I think the rest of them have pretty redeeming qualities here and there, but there's going to be a lot of them that I would put in the it's alright category. And the first one, as Luca pointed out, I think we're going to go with Tona. Rhythm of My Show, because this song it has this drop that wants to be like the song really tries to be very kind of empowering, I'd say, and it has like this suspenseful tone to it. It's a bit dramatic, but it's also like sassy. It has some attitude. It has this drop segment which tries to build some energy in it, but everything kind of just sounds a bit flat to me, a bit uninteresting. I don't think the instrumental hook is really packed with a lot of drive. It feels very mellow and restrained for trying to be this kind of empowering and attitude-packed hook. I think the vocal performance is honestly, I don't want to be harsh, but it's very subpar in comparison to the competition here. I think the vocals do not sound convincing, like in this performance. It's just not good enough, which is surprising me, because I think like My Way last year, Tona's song, was, I think I made a top list and I think I had it like 6th. Thought that was so much better. This one is like Gary says in the chat, the drop is very underwhelming, and I agree. I think most aspects of this one are very underwhelming, and there's like some weird lyrics in it as well, isn't there? What? Yeah. No. It's still alright. Like it ambitious. Has some qualities in it. I think the hook is catchy for its certain audience, but I'm just not part of it. It's alright. Is she even singing in English? Jeffrey asks. Her diction is rather lacking. Yeah, it's a bit unclear at times to really hear, which is a bit odd because I think in My Way it sounded much clearer. But it is what it is. Let's move on. Should we get Mr. Alpha out of the way as well? Paul Ray. I love him. I think he's wonderful. I think Talking in My Sleep is probably like it was in 2020, and 2020 had Kingdom Come, so it's obviously not my favorite from 2020, but it's absolutely my top 5 that year. I think it's a wonderful melody. I think it's a beautiful song, very well arranged. And then we have The Missing Piece, which I thought was almost even more beautiful. It had like this really pretty just setting to it, wonderful staging, wonderful performance to it, a lot of charm, a lot of just pleasant tones getting from it. And then we have Royals, which is upbeat, it's energetic, it's intense, it's absolutely what I think Paul Ray should be doing after these two softer efforts, making a little bit of a switch, making something with energy, something that gets people going. And of course it worked out for him. He went instantly to the final. However, the song is absolutely just, what do you say? It's a song that frustrates me because I don't need to hear about him being, or they being, royals and rebels and legends. It's like such dude culture. And Paul Ray, I'm sorry, but you're not alpha enough compared to Groot. I think probably the opposite applies here, that he's too alpha to kind of apply to me. Like, this song just screams this kind of... it just wants to be so much, and it just comes across so silly, in a way. I can't connect with it. It's also a pretty, like, repetitive song throughout the runtime. I think what really just saves it is Paul is pretty damn great. The performance is really ambitious. It has a wonderful staging. The choreography is great. The light show is great. It just looks fantastic on stage. It's just a shame that this performance is paired up with a song that is... I'll leave it blank. I don't like it. Sorry, Paul. I love your previous efforts, but this song... you need to stop singing about being a royal, because regardless of me liking you, you're not a royal. Okay, we're moving on. Like, this is such a pessimistic video so far. I feel there are a lot of songs here that I don't really care about, but, or are there actually? Like, I feel like we're getting somewhere now. The songs that I can see now on the screen, I'm starting to like them. I think we'll put... let me just think, though. We have 2 songs from the semi here. So those 2, I want those to get knocked out, but I have to pick 2 more from the semi to get knocked out. And I think we're actually going to pick one of them now to throw into the It's Alright category. Because Mariette, I feel like I'm a bit harsh here, because it is enjoyable, but I just feel like the song isn't enough to really warrant my decision to really put it into the enjoyable category, because it is a bit on the forgettable side. It kind of just passed me by. I don't really consider it to be that outstanding. It has a great performance to it. She sings it very well, but the song doesn't really have that, like, leave that impact on me, and I don't really get an impression of something that really clicks here. So I'll just have to put it in the It's Alright category, because it's not all the way there. I find it enjoyable, but it's not a song that I would ever set myself out to listen to, unfortunately. And that's just the way it is. So I would like for her to not not qualify from the semi-final. And let's see what other songs we have from the semi. We have Nodman, we have Tennessee Tears, we have Tios, we have Melanie Webe, and we have Victor Krone. These 5, yeah, they're all gonna be in enjoyable or above, and so will all the finalists that we have here as well be. So we're going to move up to the enjoyable category. I feel like what I have to start with here, I just kind of have to stay true to my personal opinion, I guess. Oh, yikes, this is really tough. Probably... Oh, God, this is so difficult. I'm going to go for Tios. Mer of Day. Really ambitious, like, really fun. I think it's a massive step up from what he did last year, but it's just so far away from my type of music. It's this, like, bubbly pop that's really happy, upbeat, makes you just want to be in a good mood, and it kind of manages to do that while also just not clicking with me at all, because I'm not the audience for it. I feel like when it comes to these upbeat pop songs, I get more enjoyment out of the song that Panetos had, for instance, which was in the same semi, you know. So, what do you call it? It's just more like, it's just my subjective preference in terms of the musical delivery here. I don't find the beat to be very interesting. I think it's a bit flavorless. I think the hook is there. It has a great melody to it. The performance is definitely what elevates it and just kind of kicks it up a gear and makes it actually a standout. And I think it will qualify for the final. I don't think we need to worry about that. But in an ideal world that I decide, I think I will just have to put it, like, just outside, because I like the other 4 songs more. But it's not going to be like that when we see the actual results. But at this moment, I feel like this is the one that I get the least enjoyment out of. And I don't really listen to it. But it might be a grower. I don't know. I haven't really given it too many chances afterwards. Yeah, it is what it is. I think most of you kind of just expect me to not be the audience for this as well, so I feel like I might get a bit understood there. Let's move forward, and actually let's go with Maria Sur here, because this, like, it's such a conflicting song, this one, because she sings so well. It's very epic, anthemic. The lyrics, I don't think a lot of people really click with. Like, it's so sad that you have to write a song about standing in the pain, or no, standing in the pain, standing in the rain and feeling pain. I mean, it just really frustrates me, because the song is trying to tackle an actual issue in the world right now, and make you feel sympathy. It manages to do that, but it's only because of her story. It's not because of the songwriting here. It almost feels like a parody to what it wants to present topic-wise. Unfortunately, I feel, and that's just such a kind of disappointing aspect within this song, because I feel like the songwriting, while not really interesting, it is a power ballad with a big voice, very engaging in that sense. I say it's emotional, but when you listen closely, you don't really click with it. It doesn't feel like it's carefully crafted, and there has actually been put like love into this. It feels very formulaic in a sense. Like, it's predictable. It is exactly what you want. Like, if you'd ask your computer, without anyone sitting behind it, to put together a song that's supposed to evoke emotions within people about a very, very serious topic, this is what you'll get. That's kind of what I feel about this one. It's so frustrating, because there are so many great things about it. It's vocally so well sung. It has a nice melody in there. It has good ideas in the instrumental as well. Polished production. Pretty empty staging, but still lovely lights and such. But man, I just hope that we won't pick this one. It's unfortunate, but yeah. Let's continue on the ballad track, because for the show by Melanie Weber, this one is really pretty. Like the way that this one is structured. Like, staging wise, love it. I like this like column that she has behind her, and the way that just this lighting, like the color grading on stage, like the gold and the black and the orange, it looks wonderful. The song has a nice build in it. I think it builds very effectively throughout. It's like a progressive song, which really just showcases an evolution throughout. It has a nice piano melody to it. Like, the piano arrangement throughout is pretty damn great. Vocally, it has a nice melody, lovely flow in it, solid vocal performance, maybe a bit unclear at times in pronunciation, I guess, because it's not really superbly clear in what she's singing. But when I listen to the studio cut, I just feel like, yeah, this is just a well-written ballad. It clicks, it works for me, and I'm really happy that she went through. We'll see if she actually manages to go even further, but I think this is just a big step for her to just go to the second chance. But if I got to choose, I would definitely want to see her go through, alongside, I guess, Victor Krone, who I actually haven't really talked about, because I've been streaming for, I guess, like 2 weeks or something. So I've talked, I think, about all of the Melfest songs, like Semi 2, Semi 3, Semi 4, but not the first one. I've only like glossed over it a little bit. And Victor Krone obviously made it from the first one. A lot of people don't like it because it's very Victor Krone, and that's completely fine. I'm the same way. Like, it's the most predictable Victor Krone song you would hear. However, I find this one to be really easygoing, pleasant to listen to at any time. It's not something that I would ever pick out and just say, look at this masterful songwriting. Oh, look at these complex ideas he's thrown in here. Oh, do you want a song that has the most perfect production I've ever heard? I would never go for this one. It doesn't do anything outstanding. It just does everything pretty well. And I get that could be considered like really boring for a lot of people. For me, though, it's just a pleasant listening experience. It has a nice little show to it. It's very empty on stage, but it still has a nice show to it. It's well presented. It's well written. Has a nice chorus. Has a lovely instrumental to it. I really think so. I like this guitar-driven songs, but it's not a standout. But I absolutely think it's not as bad as what people are actually trying to claim that it is. Because people have been saying it's really awful, which I think is really unfair. I think that it's better than his song that he had whenever that was, which was called Troubled Waters. This one has a constant melody to it. It's more melodically varied. It has a nicer soundstage to it. It's actually an effort to create something a bit more flowing, I'd say. And I think that should really be encouraged instead of just being shot down. But it is what it is. I think Victor Krone might actually get knocked out here, but for something like Kiana probably. But in my world, I think it's among the strongest songs in the semifinal. But I don't think the final necessarily needs it, because as Luca just wrote in the chat, I just kind of quickly glanced. Victor Krone's song is just very Victor Krone, and that's absolutely what it is. Let's move on. We got 2, 4, 6, 7 songs left. 5 of these are already in the final. One that isn't is Tennessee Tears with Now I Know. This one's enjoyable as well. I wouldn't go as far and call it a great alternative, because I don't think it is. I don't think it's something we should send to Eurovision. However, I think that it's very charming. It's very upbeat. I like country when country is done right. It's so reliant on the guitars, and the way the guitars are layered in this song. It's just a nice soundstage. And I think the chorus has a great melody to it. I think the drumming is energetic. There's a constant energy within this song, and really makes it feel very lively throughout. It's also, just like Victor Krone's song, a nice song to listen to at any time. It's really pleasant while still being pretty catchy and upbeat. And I think this one just has a little bit more of a memorable aspect than Victor Krone's song has. So that's why I just kind of prefer it a little bit. I also like the duet aspect of this one. I think they're great together. I think they sing incredibly well. Especially the woman in this group has a wonderful voice. Really does. And I think they sound great together. I like the instrumental of it. I think the staging is pretty decent as well. It looks nice with the band. It feels very inviting and warm and just, yeah, inviting. It feels nice just seeing it and listening to it. I think it's really pleasant. So that's an enjoyable one as well. And we got 6 songs left. And the more I look at them, I think that these 6, if we go for any of these 6, I will be satisfied. That, like, if we send one of these 6 songs to Eurovision, I won't have any issues with it. Of course, I have my preferences on which one we should send, but these 6 are the standouts, in my opinion. One of them is, of course, only in the semifinals so far. However, I feel like they probably will make it to the final. They were very close to going to the final in the semi, but Paul Ray went instead, because I guess that's what royals deserve. Nordman aren't royal enough to go to the final, I guess. I'm just trying to think like what I want to put in 6th place, because these, I have a top 3. I have a 4th. You know what? Let's get them out of the way. I like Nordman a lot, but the thing that sets them back is that they have no staging. They basically have no staging. They have an LED, they have crows, they have green mysterious screens in the background, and they have a wonderful song with a fantastic melody. I can't stress it enough. The melody of this song is out of this world good. It's so charming the way that it's played on the key harp, and it's lovely how it's layered with the vocal towards the end of the song as well. However, they have nothing behind them, nothing to really support them, which I think is really unfortunate. These guys deserve a performance to really work with their song. I've already mentioned it in a previous stream when we talked about this semifinal, that in 2008 they also had a really great song, but a performance that was expensive. It was well thought out, well crafted, and well executed. They burned a girl on stage, technically. You just need something to actually go on stage as well. They're excellent at just creating a story, lyrically or melodically or visually in this case, in a performance. It's such a missed opportunity to not give them anything to do for a staging. It's so disappointing to just see 2 men, one singing, one playing the key harp, and then crows on LED screens behind them. Great alternative if they can enhance the staging and actually make it into a great performance, because this song has the potential to be that. It has a wonderful melody, it stands out atmospheric, or like in an atmospheric sense. It definitely has its own sound. I think it's a standout. But yeah, If they have that staging to Eurovision, they're not going to go to Eurovision. But in this world, if they would end up going to Eurovision with that staging, I would be very worried. But yeah, great alternative song-wise, I'd say. Jon Henrik Fjällgren is also, of course, a great alternative. He always is. I didn't really care for his song in 2019, which was called Norrsken, because it was basically just a rip-off from Axwell and Ingrosso. I've already mentioned that enough times, but I just mentioned it again for whatever reason. However, this song doesn't have that like melodic impact. It feels mostly like a song featuring Jon Henrik Fjällgren than it is a song Jon Henrik featuring these other two dudes. Because his yoiking is very much in the back. It's not the center, like the focal point of the song. I think where the perfect balance was made was in 2017 with the En Värld Full av Strider, which I don't remember what position he came in, but after Statements got knocked out, I was rooting so hard for that song to win because it stood out so much. It was epic. It had a grand tone to it, and it incorporated Jon Henrik Fjällgren so well with the rest of the song. It was like he was still the main part of it. The yoik was so integral to that song, and then the chorus had this massive delivery vocally and melodically, but the yoik was still the focal point. Here it's the complete opposite. You have a song, it's pretty, like, it's very modern, electronica inspired, has a great sound to it. It's produced very well, it sounds wonderful, it has a nice hook to it, not like overly memorable, but still nice. And then you incorporate Jon Henrik Fjällgren and you put it at the very back. It's not what the standout part about this song really feels like. It's very unfortunate, but it's just the way that I feel about it. Still, if it was to win, I would 100% be behind it because I think that it's really enjoyable to listen to. It is just a great song, well written, well arranged, incorporates the yoiking really nicely, but I feel like it's just a missed concept because it's supposed to be the other way around in my head. Still, I really like it, but yeah, it's not the song for me. We got 4 songs left. These 4 have floored me. And Panetos is the one that, like, Panetos is not gonna win. Everyone knows that. Like, when I saw the second semi, I was like, okay, I want Panetos to win because they were the standout that far. Of course, we had Jon Henrik Fjällgren, but they were the song that made me feel something, that gave me hope for Melodifestivalen this year. It just elevated when I saw them. They were incredible on stage. The song, I get it if like it's like a party song. It's very happy, very harmless, just upbeat and tons of fun. And I think it does that job perfectly. But I get it if that's not your thing. Like if it's only that, then I mean people could just be like, oh yeah, it's simple, it's predictable, it's very easy, straight to the point. Not really a big fan. Completely understandable. As a song, I'm not entirely sold on all of the aspects within the song because I think like when you listen to it in the studio cut, the production quality of it isn't really what I wanted it to be. I think the opening is very weird with how the vocal is very loud and the instrumental is super restrained. But as the song kind of, like when you see it live, it's just something completely else because they're charming on stage. They have wonderful energy, a lovely performance, and things are going on all the time, all over the stage. They have this really just charming aura around them, and they work fantastically together. They have a choreography which is playful, it's fun to watch. For the entire 3 minutes here, I forget about everything else going on, and I'm just hooked by this performance and this song. It makes me so happy. And, I mean, it's not what we should send to Eurovision, but like 2 weeks ago, when this was the only one that I felt really positively about, I felt like we should send this, but now I don't think that anymore because we got 3 songs below here, which are the 3 standouts. If I could, I would put them all in the top category, but you know this series by now, I'm sure you do. We're not allowed to put anything in we're only allowed to put 1 song in the top category. So let's get into Smash Into Pieces. I love them. I've already talked about them in the stream, so I don't need to go through more of it. But it's just this perfect balance of pop and hard rock. There's something for everyone to latch onto here. It has the hook, which is very pop inspired. It has a nice melody to it that's very easy to stick in your head. It has a little bit of a softer touch instrumentally. It's not all out just distortion and heavy drumming here for the chorus, but then you have the riffs that kind of comes after it. which are really heavy, and you have the synth being very prominent in these sections as well, which is just a nice sound, like instrumentation through the song as well, and its sound design is out of this world great. It sounds fantastic, has a little bit of everything from both worlds, I guess, and it's a fine balance between different styles and different approaches, and I think it just works. Staging is fantastic with this whole 3D cityscape they got for it. Fun little, I guess, idea for the drummer with the mask. It's all just packaged so well and well executed, and a great alternative. If they win, I'd be thrilled. If Marcus or Martinez wins, I will be thrilled, because this song is probably my favorite song in the selection. Like, if you just listen from a studio cut, it's everything that I kind of need. It has suspense, it has like this mysterious mood to it, it has a build which is super effective, and it has an instrumental drop with a sound design that is out of this world great. It has a melody here which is really tangible. I will probably just return to the sound design, because the way that this synth comes across within this soundstage, that's very moody and atmospheric. It's like just this beam of light in the middle of everything. It's such a bright sound to the synth melody. Like, it's kind of a pluck, very aggressive, very fast paced, very reminiscent of trance music from I guess, well, from all periods of time generally, but I guess early 2000s is probably where you find most of it, like maybe like artists like Sash, for instance. It's just this very energetic trance-like synth that it has going for it. It feels very well executed instrumentally, and then you have a performance which just kind of matches that ambition, because the performance knocks it out of the park as well. The light show is great, the choreography is great, they work together on stage as well. I feel like maybe it's lacking a little bit in the second half. It becomes a bit more like too much free-flowing stage-wise, but as an overall package still, it just looks great, it sounds great, it's perfect, but it's not Loreen. I guess. I mean, I think like if everyone who makes a tier list for Melody Festival this year will probably put Loreen at the very top, because it's just that performance and that effort that just is a step above everything else. It's professionalism to the max. It's creatively put together, arranged on stage in a wonderful way. It's really just like this creative staging kind of elevates what already is a very powerful song with an immense vocal performance. And I think the hook is there. It's really catchy, but not like too catchy. It's not one of these hooks like the "Where Did You Go" that's just repeated over and over again that makes you annoyed at it. It has a nice melody to it, lovely tone in the vocal that matches that ambition as well. It has a very intriguing instrumental that's varied throughout as well. And the final part of the song, the drumming, it really kicks in. Well, really, like, even after the first chorus, when the drumming has kicked in and the energy is being kept in the second verse, just small little things like that add so much to the song. It feels very energetic throughout. It's constantly really engaging, and I think that's the standout part about this, along with the vocal performance and the staging and, you know, the whole package. It's Eurovision ready, it's Eurovision worthy. Let's see how far it goes, but it's the song that I think we should send. Simple as that. That's my tier list. Tell me what yours is. I'll be reading the chat to see and compare. You don't have to put all of the 16 songs in it if you don't want to, but you can just give me your winner and your great alternatives, and we'll call it there. And I'll try and get through the chat. You've written so much, and I haven't been checking it